The Headless March of Klaus Störtebeker. Welcome back to the Chronicles of Bone. Today, we begin the story of the Headless Captain and the Golden Plague. The wind howls across the Elbe River. It is October 20th, 1401. A gray fog clings to the docks of Hamburg. The air tastes of salt and iron. Thousands of citizens gather on the grassbrook. This is not a celebration. This is an execution. At the center of the crowd stands a giant. Klaus Störtebeker looks at his captors. His beard is matted with brine. His eyes burn with a strange, dark fire. He was the king of the liquor dealers. He was the pirate who shared his loot with the poor. Now, he stands before the executioner. The crowd is silent. The only sound is the rhythmic lap of the water. This is the end of an era, but it is the beginning of a nightmare. Let us look closer at the man they called the Red Devil. Störtebeker was a legend long before he reached the block. He could drain a 4-liter mug of ale in one breath. He could outrun the fastest Hanseatic ships. For years, he terrorized the Baltic Sea. He was a phantom on the water. His ship, the Seetiger, moved like a ghost. He took what he wanted from the rich merchants. He gave the rest to the peasants. But his luck ran out. The Hanseatic League wanted his head. They sent a massive fleet to hunt him down. Simon of Utrecht led the charge. He sailed the Bundenkirk. It was a floating fortress. The battle off Heligoland was a slaughterhouse. Cannon fire tore through the oak hulls. The sea turned red with the blood of pirates. But the capture of Klaus was not simple. Legend says a traitor worked from within. Someone poured molten lead into the Seetiger's rudder. The ship could no longer turn. Pirates were trapped. They fought like cornered wolves. Eventually, the chains were heavy. Klaus and 72 of his men were dragged to Hamburg. The trial was a formality. The Senate wanted blood. Klaus tried to bargain for his crew. He offered a chain of solid gold. He said it was long enough to circle the entire city. The Senate refused. They wanted to send a message. Gold could not buy life in Hamburg. They sentenced every pirate to death. Klaus made one final, bizarre request. He looked the mayor in the eye. He made a deal with the devil. If the executioner cut off his head, his body would stand. He asked that every man he could walk past while headless be set free. The mayor laughed. He agreed to the terms. It was an impossible feat. A dead man cannot walk. The executioner, a man named Rosenfeld, stepped forward. He held a massive two-handed sword. The blade caught the dim morning light. Klaus knelt in the mud. He did not blink. He did not pray. The sword swung in a silver arc. It sliced through the neck with a sickening crunch. The head of Klaus Störtebeker fell into the dirt. Arterial spray painted the spectators crimson. The crowd gasped. But then, the impossible happened. The headless body did not collapse. It gripped the earth with its boots. It stood upright. The stump of the neck pulsed with life. Slowly, the corpse took a step, then another. The crowd screamed in terror. Some people fainted. The body marched past the first pirate, then the second. It walked with a heavy, purposeful gait. The sound of boots on the damp ground echoed like thunder. 3 men, 4 men, 5 men. The mayor sat frozen in his seat. The body reached the 11th man. Klaus was saving his brothers from the grave. The headless king was cheating death itself. Rosenfeld, the executioner, panicked. He threw his foot out. He tripped the walking corpse. The body finally fell into the mud. It twitched once and went still. The silence that followed was oppressive. The mayor regained his composure. He was a man of cold stone. He broke his promise immediately. He ordered the execution of every pirate, including the ones Klaus had passed. Rosenfeld went back to work. 72 heads joined Störtebeker in the mud. The legend says Rosenfeld was asked if he was tired. He replied he could kill the entire Senate if he had to. They executed him shortly after. The story could have ended there. It should have ended there. But history left us a physical clue. In 1878, workers found a skull during construction in Hamburg. A long iron nail was driven through the forehead. Forensic tests confirmed the skull dated back to 1401. It belonged to a man of massive stature. It belonged to Klaus Störtebeker. Why the nail? In the Middle Ages, people feared the return of the dead. They believed a nail through the head would pin the soul to the earth. They feared the headless captain would rise again. They feared he was not entirely human. Was it muscle memory or a miracle? Was it a final act of will or a dark curse? The city of Hamburg still whispers his name. But while the captain's body died, a new shadow was rising from the south. A ship was drifting toward the coast. It did not carry pirates. It carried something much worse. It carried the Golden Plague. We must follow the trail of the dead. But this was